a son. He was devoured by earth. There was a God.
This is the Valley of Grace podcast, where we are helping women create an empowered new chapter of life. We're reclaiming our power and identity, breaking unhealthy relationship patterns, and building resilience and flourishing. Now, today's topic for episode 113 is what's behind that door and more. Okay. When I think about relationships, and that's any relationship, you think about it, when you go into a relationship, it's kind of like being on a game show where they say, what's behind door number one? What's behind door number two? Okay, and now we have door number three. So you don't know what's behind each door. The contestant might pick a door and say, this is the one I want for my lucky prize. But what happens is that they end up in a situation where whatever they picked, once that door opens, is not what they thought it was going to be. And if you notice the look on the contestant's face, it's like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that this is what I decided to pick as my prize. But there is no going back. That's what you decided on. What you decided on is what you decided on, right? And sometimes that happens in life. The same thing could happen when you are in any type of relationship. But today I want to speak specifically on romantic relationships, okay? And I think about that door being opened. When I worked years ago in the IT department at a bank, and my kids were little, and my daughter wasn't even 1 year old yet. She wasn't even one. And my son was, 3, almost 4. And so she was still nursing. I would literally open up the door to our family van. She would fall out, arch her back. And you know how it is once kids start arching their back, it's like there's nothing you can do to put their backs back in place. It's a lost cause, and you can actually almost hurt them trying to get their body to conform to the way that you want it to conform so they can be in their seat belts properly. It's like, just forget it. So she would fall out, do this whole production. I'm like, okay, and I would have to say, you know what, Tina, you need to stop, nurse her, because I knew that's what she wanted, then put her back. But when I would get into the car with all of that going, and then my son would take off by trying to tell me what happened at school that day, it would make me like, oh my goodness, feel like I was in a state of overwhelm because the volume of noise between her screaming and hollering and my son wanting to tell me about his day and him trying to overtalk her with the noise. It was just a hot mess. So I felt like after opening that door, I really felt like slamming it closed and taking for cover, running back to the door to go back to the IT department, which I was trying to be able to go home and have a respite from that before having to go back the very next day, to be able to have like some of that restoration time of mental energy, and from that, the mental strain of having to think all day. Love my job, but it was the fact of knowing that I needed a break from that, but only coming to the car to that scene. Okay, so when we go and open the door of any new relationship, we don't know if you're going to open the door and we're going to literally be ready to take off, because we don't know what's on the other side of that door. It takes us a little bit of time to get to know that person and really feel like we can open up, they can open up, and we can start to see little things. But then sometimes there are a lot of things that go on and we miss them, is what ended up happening. Okay, so let's just go here first, then we'll go to what you missed. So in the beginning of the relationships, you're trying to make an impression, he's trying to make an impression, and he says, Baby, where do you want to go for the show? And then you say, wherever you want to go, whatever, what do you want to see? Whatever movie you want to see. It's kind of like the Coming to America. Or what do you want? Whatever you like. And what do you want? And whatever you like. And what do you want? And whatever you like. So you're back and forth saying whatever the other person wants to do, the man wants to do, you want to do it too. And in some cases, very few cases that might be the case, very few situations. A lot of times we're saying that because we want to be likable / appear agreeable / we're in love. And so we want them to think that we like everything they like. We want to do everything they want to do. And that's not the case. A lot of times we have our own individual selves. But when we're in the beginning of the relationship, we actually like put that individuality to the side for the sake of trying to impress the other person. And so what ends up happening is if we're not careful, we can get in trouble with that very same thing in the beginning of the relationship. Now, when I look back to when I was dating my ex-husband, there were some signs there. And even though I was very young, too young and in love and caught up to really notice, but there were some signs there in the very beginning. And what happens is when we're so caught up into trying to please the other person and we are wounded in certain areas ourselves, those two components will actually reinforce the fact that we are ignoring warning signs, okay? We have explicitly been given warning signs. And when we have those two issues going on, you're in love and you have your own woundedness, so you figure you better not say anything, you miss the red flags. And I can remember being invited to a program that was, to this program that he was scheduled to participate in. And I was invited to that ceremony. It was a very nice ceremony. What happened though is when I arrived at the school, at the college for the ceremony, everybody kept greeting me. Oh, you're so-and-so's woman. You're this person's woman. You're that person's woman. You're this person's woman. And I heard it so much. And it's not, I know sometimes when we know people very well, we've developed a relationship with them, they become part of our family. We tell them about all the drama, so they know everything, where our husbands may live, they know where our life-giving friends might live or work, or, I mean, not the husbands live, but the husbands work, where our life-giving friends, what they like to do, they just know about you. And this happens over time. So if they end up meeting someone that we've told them about, oh, I've heard so much about you. So it's nothing out of the ordinary for that. What happened was when they kept referring to me as so-and-so's woman and each person saying it, it was something about the energy in the room, the energy in what they said that left me feeling completely exposed, literally. And it was one of those moments where when you have in Genesis where God says, when Adam and Eve went to go find fig leaves, it left me feeling naked. And it was like him saying, who told you that you were naked? So that exposure was not a good feeling exposure. And so when you feel like somebody is watching you in that manner, it is not a good feeling. It is a feeling like some kind of way people know information about me that they should not know. That is what was going on. And it was, there was a certain level, I can't even describe, a certain level of energy that came with that. Okay, so had I not been so caught up in love and with my own woundedness, I really would have been able to take the time to think about the fact something doesn't feel right. And so the thing about it is all around during that time when they said that was also during the time where I was put way up high on a pedestal. no matter what it was I did. And to his friends, it was like, oh, she's so wonderful. She does this, she does that. She's great. She's magnificent. And so when I went there, it led up to me feeling completely exposed. And as the Lord in the garden said, who told you that you were naked? So who told you that you had a reason for you to be shameful, basically, okay? And so when we take the time to stop and sit it out and be still, as in Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. But if we are such in a rush and we're so in love, we cannot be still. And we miss out on the moments and the things that God is trying to tell us. We miss out on very important things that's going to help us to know whether we should go to the next level. And there was another time early on, and this might have been, well, I say early on, really, this might have been a good 7 years later, so that's not super early, but I was married for 20 years. There was another moment, one other moment like that, where I was feeling the same exact way. So we have to be careful. We have to stop and pay attention to those moments and know, is this something I need to address? Well, if we don't stop and become curious, we miss those red flags. We also train our bodies and our gut instincts. Everything's good. We train ourselves to not pay attention to those instincts. And we stop having the ability to know if it's something that's really going on or not. And we start being able to be more prone as being a victim of cognitive dissonance, okay? That's when that's setting in, instead of stopping and analyzing. Why am I feeling like this? What is my body telling me? Was it in something I read, a conversation I just had via text, email, over the phone? Was it a television show I just watched? Something I saw when I was traveling somewhere, in the grocery store. And we have to go back and rewind. Something I heard, something I watched on TV, something I viewed in person. What was it that led our bodies to react the way that it did? Otherwise, we miss a lot of the red flags and our body starts to lose its ability to warn us. It's like a sign going off when you have opened a door in a medical building or any type of building, and it's a door you shouldn't be going on. It's going off. Something is wrong. But we start over time, like a frog in boiling water, we start losing that ability to know that. Once you open the door to the relationship, then we have to be able to keep our bodies and our minds in tune and not be so caught up that we don't take the time out to explore, why am I feeling uncomfortable? We have to be able to get against, rule out all that background noise. Ruling that out requires stillness and time with the Lord, or we won't be able to hear. I hope I've said something that resonates with you, that works on your heart and your spirit, and that invites you into reflection over what it is that you're in now and what it is that you can avoid. I want to thank Timothy Horton for bringing that intro and outro music every week. And see you until next time. God bless.
So much I wish I could give back, but I'm not intact to be sharing all of that. You took the price to give me that life, and now it's never gonna fade away. When I see I need more of him, he whispers the sweetest of mercies upon my ears, and I won't go back the way it was again. again, again, and now. A valley of grace where things would change. I've seen the lights